What is up, guys? Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where of course it is all about classic bodybuilding. And as you can see, we are at the gym, 100% fit gym, about to train the chest. So yesterday was a leg day and there's a lot of soreness in the leg day. If you checked out that video, which you can if you check out the previous video on this channel, you can see I did a very deep leg presses, and right now my glutes, adductors and quads are all very sore, which normally doesn't happen that quickly even when I do a very heavy hack squat or a belt squat, no matter how much volume I do. But now just 4 working sets on a leg press with a medium amount of weight, the muscle ache, the soreness is very much there. So I did some cardio this morning, 30 minutes fasted. Even though the cardio went pretty easily, I can feel the fatigue starting to creep up a little bit because we have been dieting for a while now, training very hard. Sleep is sometimes a bit impaired because of our little daughter Lara. For example, last night I had to go out of the bed 3 times, so that impairs the recovery a little bit. My weight is right now 112.9, so it's been dropping like a couple of 100 grams each day. And my coach has said maybe tomorrow or the day after we'll do another high day, which I'm very much looking forward to. And when you have a coach and he prepares you for something that's going to potentially happen, it makes it easier to keep giving it your all, even though you will already do that regardless. But once you have something in the vicinity of, okay, maybe I'll have a high carb day later on, you're going to do everything to the T on your lower days to make sure you actually deserve a high day. Anyway, we're about to train the chest, so we are going to use this big ESN shaker container once again. So what we're just going to do is put in the intra workout. We're going to put in the creatine, some EAAs. We're going to put in some Himalayan pink salt, and lastly some L-carnitine. So let's just put all of this inside of here and then go straight down to train the chest. First one is going to be the chest press. So as I'm in prep, chest workouts, as chest is one of my stronger points, at least not a weak point, is very simple. 1 horizontal press or a flat press, 1 incline press and 1 isolation like a pec deck or just a fly, for example. Just maximizing each of those lifts with plenty of volume, plenty of weight. And that's enough to stimulate the chest for growth, or at least muscle maintenance, which should be your goal during a caloric deficit anyway. Don't try to push yourself too far. As always, the very boring saying, you want to prevent injuries and going too heavy, too much volume, too many weird movements that aren't really, you know, efficient for muscle growth or muscle retention. It's just going to increase the chance of injury. So let's just stick to the basics, and the basics always work. The only downfall of getting very strong in this movement is that you have to do a lot of weight, obviously. But as you can see, it's stacked almost entirely full. So you can only add 1 more plate to this, which I will after this set. But what you also notice is that during the warm-ups, my reps decrease as the weight increases. So I don't waste any energy that I want to use for the working set. So when I'm going to do 2 to 3 reps here, getting used to the weight, making sure nothing is in pain or hurts, so I know I'm entirely physically and mentally ready for the heaviest sets of this movement. Always control the weight on the way, and a negative rep on the eccentric. Provide a good stretch in the chest and then press all the way forward until you feel a squeeze. As long as you can do that through the entire set, you know you're doing it right. And fatigue is a factor, especially training legs yesterday and then not having a great night really does affect the workout. So what you then want to do is, for example, I would have done 4 working sets on the next movement. Now we're going to do 3 to you know, for strength retention throughout the entire set. Instead of adding volume for the sake of it, you got to be smart in your workouts as well to limit fatigue and still get quality stimulus for that sacred muscle growth and retention. Alrighty, time for the next movement. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have done the horizontal press, and now it's time for an incline press to target the upper pec. So with the horizontal press, you target the entire pec muscle, the entire chest basically. And now we want to target specifically the top, because that is really a separate muscle belly from the bottom. So you can actually emphasize the top and the bottom as most of you guys know. So with an incline press, what you truly want to focus on, especially with a barbell like this on a split machine, is a stretch. So you will be seeing me not going all the way up, because the higher I go, the more the joints will be stacked and the less tension will actually go to the muscle and the more to the joints, and that is useless. So I'm going to focus here on the stretch, pretty much 75% range of motion, because the top 25% won't add anything to the chest stimulus. Took off the oversized gym t-shirt, which we have a lot available on the website, including a new Be Victorious t-shirt and the Olympia bound t-shirt, which is of course one of my favorites right now, because we are bound to go to the Olympia. Super excited. I feel very good and very confident in my ability to show my best possible shape there. Fullness, as you can see, is still very much alive. Conditioning is getting better and better. My weight is staying nicely stable, not going too low. We're getting enough high days if we need to, but at the same time, in the background, you can feel the fatigue creeping up. And that gives you kind of a comfort as well, knowing that you're pushing hard enough to get into that shape that you need to show at the Olympia, because more than 60 athletes are qualified for the Classic Physique Olympia. Probably not everybody is going to go, which I recommend you not to do if you don't feel confident you can get into the top 10, because it's a big investment, but most people probably will. So you gotta stand out there, and your first impression is incredibly important. So I'm going to do my absolute best to show this fullness with a better conditioning than any other competition I've ever done. You can bet a nickel on that. Anyway, let's go for the second working set. This one actually feels pretty good. So I'm gonna do this one again. A little bit of rest, a little bit of walking in between sets to burn some extra fat. And let's go for the third working set. Okay, it's pec deck time, which is chest isolation time. So I've kind of changed my view on doing flies. So first I was all about making the perfect circular motion with the chest. But the chest is actually most stimulated with a maximum stretch. However, if you do a very circular motion, what you're really stretching is the front delt and pretty much the connection between the front delt and the chest, but not the pecs themselves. What you want to try and do is not go like this, but actually go to the back, just like a press. But you don't want to use the triceps because it's an isolation movement, so you want to go, because these handles are freely movable, you can actually, instead of going very wide, which makes it more difficult but also more unhealthy for the shoulders, you actually want to go all the way to the back and then using purely the chest to go to the front again. So that's the biggest difference. It makes it more difficult, more effective to truly isolate the chest instead of working the front delts as well. And yeah, that's basically the difference here. And also another thing is I don't need to warm up with this one. We've already done 2 movements. The chest is already fully pumped up, so no need to waste time, effort and energy on a warm-up set on the pec deck or a fly in general, unless it's like a dumbbell fly where you want to get used to the movement. But with cables or machines, in my opinion, if you've properly trained the previous exercises and properly trained the chest, there's no need to warm up here. So let's just go straight into the working set. As I mentioned on the leg workout as well, which was a leg extension as the last movement, in my opinion, even during contest prep, you can go to absolute failure on the last set of an isolation movement of that muscle group of the workout. right, that was the last set for the chest. And by the way, if you don't know yet, in the description down below, you can check out the entire workout with every exercise, every set, every amount of weight I use, and the reps. So if you want to know exactly what I'm doing in this workout in number-wise, you can check it down below. Okay, it's tricep time. And one of the changes I'm also making to my workout is instead of doing the side delts in between chest and triceps, I'm now doing the side delts at the very end because I want to prioritize the triceps over the side delts. So doing them first, right after the chest, while they're still very warm, is, in my opinion, the better option if you want to work on a weaker point, the triceps, compared to a stronger point, the side delts. So anyway, let's do this one. This is very good for the medial head, or the small head, I mean, of the triceps. Let's warm up with one set and then go straight to the working weight. So what we're doing here is really emphasizing on the contraction part, so the shortened part of the range of motion. And after this, we're going to do a movement that's going to focus on a lengthened part. So then you can actually focus on two different range of motions, pretty much emphasis on the range of motion on either the short or the lengthened part, to really focus and put all of your effort into that specific part of that muscle. If you really want to know if you're doing this movement correctly, the moment you're fully contracted, you truly want to feel that squeeze, that connection, and the lactic acid buildup, basically that burn. If you don't feel that, it simply is going to be too heavy. Now that the triceps is nicely warmed up, we're going to work in a lengthened range, because the bigger the pump, the better the stretch. Let's go. It's time for the Rapunzel push down. Why Rapunzel? Because it's very long threads of cables. I got this from Urs and a hypertrophy coach, so credit goes to them. But having these very long allows you to actually work on a lengthened range very well. So let's warm up, or maybe this is already a working set. Let's go. If you look at the movement closely, what you want is this cable to be parallel with the upper arm. And I noticed that it was a little too high, so I'm going to put it one lower. And it allows for the tension of the cable to be parallel to this arm, which is where the tricep is, and where the tension is then going to the muscle more than to the joint. That's it for the triceps, because we've done 6 working sets. Since I'm doing it twice a week, that's 12 working sets for the triceps, including the indirect work from all the chest movements. So that's enough triceps for now. And now it is time for a finishing movement with the side delts. Boom. Time for the side delts, just 2 working sets, dumbbells, high rep, focus on the contraction. Let's go. So, that was the chest, tricep and side delt workout. Felt very good, even though in the background there's a bit of fatigue creeping up. So hopefully tomorrow or the day after, a nicely high carb day. But if not, too bad, because what's #1 priority is conditioning for the Olympia. Anyway, let's go upstairs, slowly prepare our post-workout meal and show you exactly what that is. Alrighty guys, we are done with the workout. Now we are upstairs and I'm looking at my delicious, attractive, beautiful post-workout meal. Let's check it out. Would you just look at that? This is like art. This is an art piece, a painting that is almost too precious to eat, to alter, to destroy. but I will destroy it completely under the last gram. So anyway, let me explain to you what this is. So this is actually 60 grams of cream of rice by Value Red. So rice cream, you can get it at ESN, link down below. But also 60 grams of oatmeal, but not just oatmeal, but actually ultra fine oats, so ground up oats basically, which allows for a thicker consistency, because the more ground up it is, the thicker it can become. And the same thing I did with the rice cream from Value. It is a bit more of a coarse grain, and I just blended it up until it's a fine powder, and then you can add a lot more water to it for more volume. On top you can see cinnamon, delicious cinnamon. Ceylon cinnamon adds another dimension of flavor, but this is the most important part, the strawberries and the Value final protein chocolate flavor. That obviously provides the protein content, and that is very delicious. It's like a frosting, it's like a whey paste on top, adding another dimension of flavor. And the frozen strawberries ensure that the paste, the frosting, isn't leaking all the way to the sides, because the cream of rice, and as you can see the smoke coming off, is still nice and hot. But the frozen strawberries keep the frosting nice and cold, keeping it nicely firmly in the middle. Anyway, let's enjoy this one. Alrighty, so we just, well actually we're home for a while now. Had my post-workout meal, which instead of the 120 cream of rice and oatmeal combination, it was 70, and the rest was exactly the same. Then I actually did a 20-minute walk outside to get the steps up. That's what I like to do. I like to go for the 30 minutes of fasted cardio in the morning, a hard workout with steps in between the sets, steps after the meals to get to 10K steps at the end of the day. And I'll also take another walk of 20 minutes with Bobby, our dog, before the last meal, and that's the routine that I like. And usually I get above 10,000 steps very easily that way. But now it's time for the last carb of the day, which is very special. So this is the carb source already, purple sweet potatoes. I've posted this on my Instagram stories. A lot of people ask me what is this. This is also called the Japanese sweet potato. It actually has a bit more carbs than the regular sweet potato, and then regular potatoes as well. So, and it tastes a bit more sweet, has a bit more of a starchy texture, and I think it's amazing. Also we have some low FODMAP vegetables here, some pepper, mushroom, and some zucchini. And we're also going to add for volume a little bit of cucumber, and for probiotics, prebiotics, some sauerkraut. So adding around 30 to 40 grams of sauerkraut to at least 2 meals a day really does help with intestinal health. And then we have the protein source right over there. So this is a steaming oven, and it's on regenerate mode. So it regenerates cold food from the fridge. So as if it was freshly baked or cooked or whatever. So what this is actually, I cooked some shrimp in the crock pot yesterday, and when you steam it at a low temperature for a medium amount of time, it comes back to life. So it tastes like you just cooked it, you just prepared it. So that's something for you guys to always do, because this is a microwave. If you don't have a steam oven, you can use a microwave with a steaming Tupperware container. They are available for sure, and then you have the same result, but then just put the wattage of the microwave a little lower. We also have some pumpkin and some parsnips. Yes guys, I do like a lot of vegetables. So we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different vegetables here, plus purple sweet potatoes, which by themselves have also micronutrients, just like blue color or the purple color in the purple sweet potato is responsible for the same benefits as the blue color in blueberries, for example. So it's a very nice antioxidant color effect. Anyway, let's put this together and show you the final result. Now, would you look at that? You gotta be honest, this looks pretty good. So we have a lot of vegetables right here, a lot of volume in general, which is what I love during prep. And yes guys, I know that pumpkin and parsnips, they contain a bit more carbs compared to the usual vegetables like zucchini and cucumber, and that's why I lower the amount of sweet potatoes. It's also kind of a hack you can use. So up the vegetables up to a point, but when the carbs from the vegetables start to be too high, for example, if it's like 3 to 5 grams of carbs per 100 grams for a vegetable, you simply take away from the main carb source, but that way you get the minerals, the vitamins, micronutrients from the vegetable and the fiber and more volume, rather than focusing purely on like the rice or potato, for example. Anyway, let's enjoy this one. And it is time for the last meal of the day before going to bed. So my routine was, as I mentioned, I just walked outside for 20 minutes, and then gave Lara her anabolic milk with rice flour and vitamin D and vitamin K. And yeah, now it's time to show you what I am going to eat as the last meal of the day. So it's pretty much a lot of protein and fats and a little bit of vegetable. So here we have 10 egg whites, 2 whole eggs. As you can see, a little bit of peppers inside this omelet as well. And also some beautiful salmon fillet with some dill on top and plenty of Himalayan pink salt. And in a crock pot we have some Brussels sprouts, just about 100 grams, not too much to prevent bloating, but you know, I just love Brussels sprouts, and we are out of asparagus, unfortunately. But this is my last meal. 5 sprays. There's about 5 milligrams of melatonin, and it has cherry flavor, which tastes amazing. But I like to use melatonin because it makes you fall asleep easier, it keeps you asleep easier, and it simply has helped me tremendously. And as I mentioned previous time as well, it's also an antioxidant for the brain, which for a professional bodybuilder, income to spread, is very important. Alrighty guys, that was the video of the day. Don't forget to check out down in the description all the links I'm associated with, for example, a discount on Vintage Genetics clothing, a discount on all the supplements that you saw in this video by ESN, and also use my support code Wesley for any of your purchases at ESN, for example, the incredible Value line, which is the best possible brand you can possibly use, in my opinion, as a professional athlete or a serious athlete in general. But let's not make this video too long. I really want to thank you for watching. See you next time. Very excited for the Olympia prep. Very excited with what the shape is showing today at the gym. So yeah, super excited. And don't forget to stay golden.